I used to work with kids, and some of them are so cute. And then there's this one girl that I really like. She was super cute. She was really derpy. She kind of reminded me of myself. We're kind of like the loners, I guess. And everybody else would kind of be like, oh, I want pink, and I want this color and that color. This girl at the back will be like, well, you know, she'll be very quiet. She's not like quiet shy. She's like quiet derpy. Yeah, she's super derpy. Like, actually, when I was a kid, I was very similar to her. So this derpy girl at the back, let's call her, I don't know, Rita. So this girl at the back, she'll be like super patient while everybody else was like, oh, I want pink. So Rita at the back, Rita being a big derp face, you know, she'll be like patiently waiting for me just to hand out any color to her. So because I see her like so patient and all, I just want to give her a little bit of special treatment. So I'll kind of be like, oh, hey Rita, what color do you want? Do you want pink too? And she'll be like, no, it's okay, I want yellow. It's just like nobody wants yellow, and this girl just be like, I just want yellow. Can I have mine first because I want to start on my project? I'll be like, yeah, of course, here you go. You want yellow? And you're like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And Rita always had like the sinus thing, so her voice was always like really, like her sinuses were always fucking clogged, just like mine. It was so funny. But you know, kids, when their sinuses are clogged, they sound really, really clogged. She literally sounded like this all the time. Like, she always sounded like this. Her sinuses were clogged 24/7. It was so funny. I'll be like, oh, what color do you want? You want pink? Because I have extra. She'll be like, no, it's okay, I'll have yellow. She was so cute. I loved her so much. And she just kind of do her own thing in the back, and everybody else would be like, hey Rita, what color eraser do you have? And she'll be like, yellow. Oh, you like yellow? Rita's favorite color is yellow. And she'll just be like, it's not really my favorite color, it's just the one that nobody chooses, so it's faster for me to get it, so I can start at my project faster. Just keep in mind that this kid is like 5 years old, okay? So she was really smart. It was incredible. I loved observing her because she was just so funny and so cute. One time, like, I was playing with this 3-year-old. Let's call him Kent. So Kent is also pretty derpy, but he was like very wholesome. And one time there's like this little tiny bug in like a drawer or something. And, you know, I wanted to show Kent. I was like, look, Kent, there's a bug in the drawer. And Kent was like, oh, bug. And I was like, oh, you should try to pet it, you know? Like, it was a really tiny bug. I was just like, oh, you should try to, like, get it on your hand. It was, like, probably, like, almost the size of a ladybug. So I was like, oh, you should try to get it on your hand and, like, you know, just play around with it on your hand. You know, because I want kids to kind of, like, not be afraid of insects, if possible. Just, you know, it's nature. As long as it's not going to bite you or anything, it's fine. So Kent, like, you know, goes for it. He puts his hand in the drawer. I don't think he had good mobility because he was 3 years old, so he couldn't really control the weight of his hand. He fucking, like, went in there. He accidentally, like, smashed the bug. The bug fucking, like, splatted everywhere. It was disgusting. And I kind of was like, oh. I was like, oh, God. And I think, like, that very moment, like, surprised him. I don't think I helped out by going, like, oh, my God. You know, kind of like that. And he just, like, he got so surprised. He fucking bawled his eyes out. He was like, I killed something! I killed a bug! And I was like, oh my God, it's okay. It wasn't your fault. He was like, ah! He actually cried so hard. He's like, I killed my first living thing! I'm a monster! And I was like, don't worry, Kent. The bug lived its life. Bugs don't live that long. It was an accident. Don't worry about it. You didn't do it on purpose, so everybody will forgive you. And he was just like, I can never live this down in my life. I killed something. So Rita comes over and she's like, just calm down. Bugs are gonna die in like 2 weeks. Did you know that the cicada dies in 2 weeks? They were not gonna live long anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just like, oh shit, Rita giving some fucking wise ass insight. Oh my God, it was so funny. It was so funny. I laughed so hard with the crying kid beside me and Rita just like picking her nose, being like, calm down. You're kind of being loud. It was so funny. And like the other teachers were a little concerned because we heard crying that was really loud, and they were like, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. Can't just accidentally kill the bug." And then the teacher would be like, "Oh, it's okay. It's an accident. You didn't mean to. So the bug isn't angry at you. Don't worry. There's a bug heaven." And then like when she said that there was a bug heaven, Rita was just like, "No, they decompose in the soil, so that it gives nutrients to the trees and plants and vegetables that we eat." And I was just like, what is wrong with this girl? I love her so much. I fucking love Rita so much. Seriously. She was literally, like, if this was an anime, she would be my favorite character. I love this kid so much. She was honestly my favorite kid. I know it's not good to have favorites, but like, she was my favorite. I think she would probably develop sarcasm. This kid was literally me. And maybe a little bit, like, even more sarcastic. She actually really liked me too because I usually laugh at her jokes. Well, I think she liked me because like I really liked her and kind of gave her like special treatment. So like the first time I saw Rita cry because I think she got like hurt from the park or something. I immediately went over. I was like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Like, did you fall off the slide or something?" She like tried not to cry. She's like one of those kids who really do try not to cry even though they feel like bawling their eyes off, so she'll kind of like hold it in, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry, we'll get you like cleaned up, get you a wet wipe on that wound, and then a little bit of alcohol wipe, and then we'll put some cream on it, and then we'll bandage it up." So she was really afraid of like that alcohol sting, and obviously that's very reasonable. Like alcohol on a wound, oof, really painful. Even now I'm like, oh, that's so painful. So imagine a kid. So she was so afraid. So I got the alcohol wipe, and like I haven't even touched her knee, and she was just already like screaming her lungs out. She was like, "Ah, no!" And I was like, "I have to. Yeah, we gotta disinfect the surrounding area," because there was so much dirt. There was a lot of dirt. Like we can't just bandage it up. We had to like get a little bit of alcohol just to like clean it up. Not like straight on it, but it would still sting. So I tried to like think about a way to make it less painful. So I asked her, "How about we put a little bit on a cotton swab and just dab around the skin? It's only gonna sting a little bit, but it'll be a little less." And then she's like, "No, it's gonna hurt so much." And I was like, "No." But she's very logical, right? So I told her, I was like, "Okay, we have to disinfect your wound because you got dirt in it and there's rocks on your knee and wound, so we need to take it out. Otherwise, if it isn't disinfected, it's going to create bacteria, and that's going to hurt even more, and it's going to get deep into your skin, and you don't want that." Usually I wouldn't tell that to a kid because that's kind of scary, but because Rita was very logical, I told her that, and she asked me so many questions. It's like, "What happens if your skin gets infected by bacteria?" And I was like, "Well, number one, it gets worse. If it gets very, very infected, we might have to actually bring you to a hospital because then it affects the inside, because your skin layer it's not there anymore because you hurt yourself, right? So the layers underneath need to be protected. Otherwise, if the bacteria penetrates through the skin layer underneath, it's gonna go deeper and deeper, and that's really bad. And you'll feel even more pain, and it'll be even more difficult to cure." And she was like so fucking intrigued. She was just like asking like, "Okay, so we have to use we have to disinfect the bacteria, and then you can put the bandage up, and then it'll heal?" And I was like, "Yes." So like if it heals in a clean environment, it'll just heal properly, and you don't have to worry about it being further infected. And like she asked me this while there was like this huge ass wound on her knee, and I was like, "We need to fucking clean this as soon as possible. Can you please play 20 questions after?" I think it made her feel better, so she was like, "Okay, I'll do the cotton swab method." And I was like, "Okay, you want to hold my hand?" And she was so cute. She was like, "Yes, please." She was holding my hand so fucking tight. Like, this is her tiny hand, okay? This is my hand. This is her hand. Okay, pretend this is her hand. She's like holding it so fucking tight. My fingers were like fucking hurting. Seriously, it helped her. So I just, who cares? Who cares about my pain? It's nothing. So she was holding my hand so freaking tight, and just the surrounding area of the skin, I just like used a little bit of alcohol. It wasn't too strong, and then for the rest, I just kind of like cleaned it with a wet wipe a little bit. And oh my god, it was just, there's something about seeing a kid being so like serious that's just really cute. She was like obviously in a lot of pain, but she wasn't crying. She understand that this had to happen. She was holding my fucking hand so freaking tight, and it helped. And she was just like holding it in. She was going like, and I was just like, oh my god, stop! Like, I'm trying to focus. Like, every time she did that, I would panic because obviously I don't want her to feel pain, but like obviously it would be very painful. It was just such a cute and wholesome moment, but at the same time, it's very nerve-wracking because I obviously didn't want her to cry and be like, no! Because all the other kids who I do it to, they'll be like, no! And I have to like fucking hold them down and like clean the wound. Like, oh my goodness, it was so... But like, Rita was such a freaking Chad. Seriously, Rita's my favorite kid. She was only like 5 at the time. I'm a little sad that I don't get to see her grow up. When it was my last day working at this place, Rita asked me like, where are you going? And I was like, oh, I'm going back to Canada. I gotta go study. And she's like, you're studying? But you're teaching. And I was like, you know, teaching is also studying too. Every time I teach you, I learn something else too. And she's like, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher like you. And I was like, I almost cried, to be honest. I still feel kind of like crying when I remember her saying that. She's like, I want to be a teacher like you when I grow up. I want to learn and teach people. And I'm like, I cannot. I like almost cried. And then she's like, are you gonna come back? And I'm like, well, you know, even if I visit, I don't think you'll be here anymore, you know? You're gonna go to elementary school and you're gonna learn many things. And she's like, I'm excited. I'm excited to learn things. And I'm like, I'm so happy. And then I asked her, I was like, are you gonna forget me? And she'll be like, she's so fucking funny. She'll be like, I'll try not to, but I've already started forgetting things from when I was 2 years old, so I can't promise anything. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you actually 5 years old? Seriously? It was just kind of like a joke. I was like, are you gonna forget me? And she's like, I'll try not to. And sensei. And then I was like, you know, I only say this to my favorite kid, but I'll be like, oh, when I left, I was like, I love you. I believe you can do many things in life. You're gonna do great. I'm gonna miss you and I love you. And then I think she was really shy of saying it back. So she's like, can you lean in? And she whispered in my ear, I love you too. I can't! I'm gonna cry. Yeah, it was so sweet. I actually started crying a little bit. Like, my eyes were like teary, and you know, I don't think she really fully understand that I might not have. She was like, you can always visit me at my elementary school. And I'm like, sure. That's going a little far. Your parents would be honestly concerned, but for the sake of, you know, of your 5-year-old purity, I'm gonna be like, yes, I will come visit you. And yeah. She's like, how far is Canada? I was like, well, I gotta be on a plane for like fucking 15 hours. I was like, yeah, it's pretty far, but you know, we're still in the same world and under the same sun and stars. So I'll always be here, some way or another. And she was like, oh yeah, I wanna grow up to be an English teacher like you and teach people English. And I was like, I'm so happy. And she said like, I love you and I miss you in English. And she said, goodbye, Enna sensei, which is very formal. She always tried to speak as much English as possible. She just really liked to learn, you know? The last thing she said was like, see you again, Enna sensei. See you again. I'll miss you. You know, like that. So it was so cute. It was so cute. It was so cute. She's literally my favorite. Sensei, これあげて。先生、ドア閉めて。先生。喉乾いて。先生、お腹すいた。先生、ゴムが欲しい。先生、眠い。アナ先生、この本読んでください。お願い、先生。God damn. Oh. Anna sensei? Anna sensei is retired. お疲れ様でした。またね。